Hey everyone, Matty here again. Oh, should probably get you guys some light. Yeah, there's a little backlight so you can see my pretty face. Um, After a certain point, you'll be able to figure out where I work because you'll be able to piece together what the fuck my shirt says. Um, Not too much really to report today. Had a really good day. Got up at around 9:30, which was nice. I slept a lot because of nocturnal activities between me and my girlfriend. But was tired out and I slept really nice. And I woke up around 9:30. Got a hold of my ex's boyfriend. Well, I can just say Jess's boyfriend. It's easier that way than my ex's boyfriend. That sounds weird. But got a hold of him. Asked him if he mind. He's watching my daughter while Jess was at work. He's like, "Oh no, not at all." Put on a pot of coffee, whatever. Went there, hung out with my daughter for a little while. We practiced counting and the ABCs. She'll be 2 next month, and she can count up to 12. And she's got probably, I want to say 18 letters in a row. She skips a good middle bit. L, M, N, O she has trouble with. And then E, F, G she has trouble with. Other than that, she's getting pretty good. She doesn't articulate the words well. But now I know my ABCs. Next time when you sing with me, she usually does like a melody of it. It's pretty fucking cool. But it was nice. I sneezed a couple times and she said bless you. That was fucking cool too. She says thank you if you give her a sippy cup, and she'll ask you for help with something. If you help her, she says thank you. If she sneezes, she'll say bless you and thank you, which is fucking adorable. But it was a really good day. It was good. My buddy Jimmy gave me a ride into work. That's where I'm at now, and I got just tested for patience and tolerance. Patience and tolerance was definitely just tested. Unfortunately, I'm actually going to multitask here. Text my girlfriend. She's sending me some kissy faces, but I'll send back a couple. Feels gross talking about, but where I work, it's predominantly Spanish. Spanish American, but they speak predominantly Spanish. The gentleman I just worked with, had to work with, to figure out where you could park. That's my boss. Figure out where you could park. Didn't really speak English at all. I had to mime some stuff. It wasn't that he didn't speak English that frustrated me. It was just that, like, how accustomed are you to just going, hey, could you park right there? And the other person going, yeah. And then that's it. It sounds retarded, but, I shouldn't say retarded. It sounds dumb. But it's difficult when an affair that usually would take 4 or 5 minutes to accomplish takes a half hour. That's what I was just dealing with. The gentleman called somebody that he knew could speak both Spanish and English. It took probably three attempts to actually get the person, because I don't know why, but I talked to 3 different people and they didn't understand me, so they put another person on and another person. I have also a weird accent. I'm from Massachusetts, and I don't pronounce things weird. I don't know. I don't see Boston. It's Boston. I'm from South Carolina, Massachusetts. I moved around a lot. Georgia, Texas, Florida, California, Boston itself, all over the place. Hampden County, Worcester County. I was in the greater Springfield area for a little while, up in the Berkshires. So I've been all over the place, and my voice has kind of muddled. It's funny, my girlfriend was saying I have a very good speaking voice. For whatever reason, it's calm, and the rhythm of it, I don't know. But this gentleman couldn't understand me, and I couldn't understand him, and that's a difficult situation to be in sometimes. Because he was starting to get frustrated, I was starting to get frustrated. I had him park in one spot, and we realized his trailer was sticking out too much. So I was trying to tell him to park off to the side. I had to call my supervisors. It was like this whole thing. Not a big deal. What actually ended up saving the day is technology. I was sitting there, I was like, oh, I can just pull up a translator on my phone. Downloaded one. Plugged in what I had to say to him, that he had to park his trailer off to the side, detach, and then park his truck behind the garage, and that he could just, sleep there for the night because nobody gets unloaded till the morning anyway. And then we were just kind of shooting the shit back and forth. I'd hand him my phone. He typed stuff into the Spanish part and spit it out in English, which the translators are fucking horrible. I could tell because he would type things, and when they came out in English, they were really off. He had to actually, we both had to do it, reword things and retype. It was actually really comical. He was a really nice guy. We actually had a conversation for about 15 minutes after he got parked via Google Translate, which was kind of funny, but we were talking about like his kids and my daughter. And, he's from Florida. That's where he's coming up here from, so up to Massachusetts. He just did a trek, and he gave me a fucking orange soda from the fridge in his rig, and like we were just sitting there bullshitting, but the whole half hour, I was starting to get impatient, like a little hot under the collar. I don't know if I've established any type of viewpoint, but I hear it often enough around the area I'm in because it's predominantly white and predominantly Republican. I believe Republican. Conservative. Yeah, so you hear a lot of, they're in this country, they speak English, all that bullshit. If they don't want to learn English, they need to go home. I shouldn't have to learn Spanish. Blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up. Previous jobs, my last job before this one, I was in a big factory. We had a lot of immigrants from Thailand, Iraq, I think I met one person I didn't like, and that was just because I didn't like him. You don't have to like everybody. It doesn't mean you're a racist. I just didn't like his personality and the way he talked to people. One friend from there, DeWoot, he came in. He didn't know how to speak English. He would talk to me, and even though I enunciate really well and I'm kind of clear in what I say, I think anyway, I'm very articulate. And he would have to tell me to slow down. I was speaking too fast for him, so I had to have an active struggle of just slowing out how I talk so he could try to pick up the words. And it's incredible. He would watch movies in his language with English subtitles and then type in the English words into the computer to hear how they sound. So he would sit there after work for hours, and that's what he'd do. And he'd come to people like me and, how do I word this? I want to take this day off. How do I go to the boss and tell her that? So, after a year time of knowing him, he spoke fluent English, and neither of us realized when it happened, but I didn't have to speak slowly anymore. He just understood me. It was really fucking impressive. And if you want to have that mentality of they need to learn this language, how would you feel if you got dropped off in the fucking Middle East somewhere? Nobody spoke your fucking language, and you were just sitting there. Would you want them to make you feel comfortable, or you want them to be a fucking intolerant dickhead to you? Pick one. I've been to non-English speaking places, and it's really fucking uncomfortable. You feel uncomfortable, you feel insecure, you're confused. If you get lost, you have trouble finding where the fuck you need to go. It's not fun. Make it fucking comfortable for them. You probably have a smartphone, because you're a fucking privileged white asshole. So why don't you pull out your fucking smartphone and get a translation going and fucking try to talk to them that way? It's hard, it's inconvenient, but it's doable. I just did it. I've done it before. You don't have to fucking just get so rooted in, we're in fucking America. That's fucking dumb. Guy's got 3 kids. He's been a truck driver for fucking 20 years in Puerto Rico. He just moved here last year so his kids could go to school. He's a horrible person. He needs to get back on the boat, right? I don't fucking think so. He's real friendly to me. He's just a person. He doesn't speak my language, but there's means to fucking translate. Whether I'm sure it was going better in his head calling the person he called. I could speak to her and then she could tell him and then vice versa. Technology saved it. We have technology now. You don't have to fucking... I used to just a basic one. There's other ones that you speak into, and it'll just speak it in their language too. There's no typing. You can just speak back and forth. And, I don't know how I'm sure it's just a program. It acknowledges it's English when it records it, translates it to Spanish, and then it'll acknowledge if it hears Spanish and translate it into English. So it's open communication. There's a little delay, but you can openly communicate with one another. That's about it. That's all I really did. I hung out with my daughter. We laid on the couch, watched, she's into Arthur, which is funny. I used to watch that when I was younger. Like I said, I'm 25, so that was very much a show I'd watch. I think that's been around for fucking ever on PBS. But she likes Sesame Street, Arthur, Elmo. Elmo is Sesame Street. I suck. Berenstain Bears, that's a new one. And Curious George, which is cool. I used to watch that too, so it was cool. We just sat there when she got tired of one. It'd run out, and we got Roku. Well, they have Roku. I got Jess a Roku a couple months ago because I was shutting off cable because I couldn't afford to pay it anymore for her. But you'll just sit there and you can hold my daughter up and tell her which one. She'll look through them all. If you don't like it, you gotta put her down, scroll down, and pick her up. But she'll enunciate what she wants. She'll say Arthur. She'll say Elmo. George. Like she'll say them, or Bears. So it's cool. She's fucking smart. She's a lot smarter than I ever was. I watched her burn her hand on a stove once, and she's never touched a stove. I've burnt myself on the stove many fucking times. Shit like that. I hope I can give her the best life she could possibly get. I really do, and I'm going to bust my ass to make sure that happens. Working for myself, working weekends. It's looking like in a couple weeks I'll be working 7 days a week for a while. Bankroll some money up. We need renovations on our home done. I need renovations on what I'm going to be getting soon. So that's about it. One other topic that I personally it's hard. You say you're neutral and you're a racist. You say you're for and it's okay, and you say you're against and you're racist. So it's like you have to say you're for it or you're just racist. I was watching videos. I just sit here and watch videos during the night, and that's what I was doing last night. Actually, I might post it. I got a good video of a little fox. He was running around, but I had the lights on, so the glare off the window, you could barely see him. Maybe I can incorporate that into a video at some point, get my computer going. But I was sitting here watching. It was on the Black Lives Matter movement. And around these parts, you hear people just blatantly saying all lives matter. That's because they don't understand and they want to seem tolerant, I guess. I don't fully understand it. I'm not a black life. Do I think they matter? Absolutely. Can I agree with when people say all lives matter? Yes, they do. That was the whole Morgan Freeman thing. I was talking about it when he said simply stop talking about it. Like, don't make it a fucking issue. Like, people are going to have hate. Don't make it an issue. Don't feed it. You're fanning flames. Eventually, with technology and advancement and fucking more education, the racism will be tuned out. It will. It's an evolutionary fallback to be racist. That's how I feel. What does it accomplish? It gives you something to blame your own shit on. That's it. Bunch of white guys with tiny peckers blaming black people for fucking jobs. That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense at all. Holy shit. It's a lot about what goes on. It's easier to go, oh, I'm unemployed because I have a fucking shitty work ethic. It's easier to say, oh, well, Puerto Ricans are moving here and doing it for cheaper. That doesn't make sense. We have minimum wage. It does not matter what color you are. If you go to McDonald's and get a job, you make minimum wage. You're just shitty at your job. They're not shitty at your job. Makes sense to me. But I was watching a good video. It was actually at a Trump support rally, and Black Lives Matter showed up. And they're sitting there, all they did was want to have their fist in the air, so, black and proud, like, we matter. Let their presence be known, and it was actually kind of beautiful. One of the leader of the pro-Donald Trump group invited the Black Lives Matter leader up on stage, and he said, I'm going to give you 2 minutes of our platform for you to get your message out. So many fucking people, this is a fucking hot button issue. Because of that, there was no violence. He got up, he got to say what he got to say, that he's a patriot, he loves the country. He would say, like Black Lives Matter, and the crowd would start to chant, all lives matter, and he'd go, yes, all lives do matter. But when it comes down to what the movement started over, and an innocent black kid was gunned down by a white cop, and it was okayed away. The media didn't really cover it too much. They covered it until they got enough rise out of the general population, and they left it the fuck alone. There was no real punishment happened. Stuff like that. Like, that's the problem. And people in the crowd would scream he was a criminal. And out of everything I've heard, like the Trayvon Martin type situations, I'm not going to talk about stuff like that too much because I don't want people to be offended or hurt. That's not what this channel's about. But it was a lot of innocent people getting hurt for no reason. People screaming he's a criminal. I looked into a couple. They're not really. Like, I'm a criminal. My past life, I was a fucking criminal. I don't judge the criminals on the street now because I've been there. You don't know why people have to do something. You know, if you're just robbing a place for money because you want to go to a club, you're kind of a piece of shit criminal. I've had to rob places to get food. I've robbed 2 places in my life at gunpoint. 2 convenience stores. All I took, I think I got... The only selfish thing I think I really took was a pack of cigarettes from one. I got money from both, and I grabbed food as well. And I didn't go in there fucking pistol whipping people and screaming. I was like, look, you know, I'm fucked. I need help. I'm sorry this has to come to you. I said that at both places. I was like, I don't want anybody to get hurt, but I'm going to die. And that was true. You know, and look at me now. I pay my taxes. I raise my daughter. I co-parent with my ex. I fucking have a loving relationship with my girlfriend. I'm about to buy a property. Like, people can change. But it was just beautiful to hear, like, him saying, like, Black Lives Matter is not anti-cop. A lot of people think, unfortunately, on both sides, a lot of people think it's anti-cop. That's where I believe... I don't know. I'm fucking completely ignorant to this, but Antifa, anti-fascism, is anti-cop. And I feel like that sparked off of BLM. And the leader of Black Lives Matter, or one of the leaders, I don't know if that's something that necessarily has a leader, was blatantly saying, we are not anti-cop. They're not. They don't want cop violence. They're anti-bad cop. And he said it the most beautiful way he could have said it. If you got a bad lawyer or a bad plumber, you fire them. You don't use them anymore. Not when you have a bad cop, you just say, oh, well, you need to go on vacation for a couple weeks and cool off. That makes sense to me. They're not anti-cop, they're anti-bad cop. And I'm anti-bad cop. I've had to deal with bad cops. I've had guns pulled on me for no reason. I've been cuffed and beaten. I've been pepper sprayed. Most of the time I was intoxicated, and I did have a reputation, but a few of the cops in my local town, they didn't know how to handle me, but they didn't provoke me. Most of the time I was peaceful. Sometimes you could tell I was going to fucking put up a struggle. I've been tased twice for that, and I've been pepper sprayed once for that. Completely reasonable. I was fucking back at the time, I was 215 pounds when I was just drinking. I was a big dude, I was fucking angry, and I knew how to fight, and I liked to fight. Makes sense to fucking put me down. That makes sense. When I'm just trying to walk from, like, there's a field close to my house, I'd hang out there for, like, go there to clean my space, clear my head. I was like 15, 16. And I was just walking home, and he comes running up on me, threw me up against the fence, and next thing you know, I'm in cuffs. And he actually ended up dislocating my shoulder from it, and I did not resist one bit. He later on did apologize to me, but for me, that I should have got something better than an I'm sorry, I overreacted. That's dumb. Small town, population of 1,200. Come on. Like, I'm menacing at fucking 10:30 at night, walking home from a park? You kidding me? And that makes sense to me. Everything that man spoke was the fucking truth to me. Like, alright, they're Black Lives Matter. They still love their country, and they love their countrymen. They just don't want fucking injustices, and I can completely understand that. As, you know, I've said before, I'm a privileged, white, straight male. I've suffered injustices, not because of my race, but I have suffered injustices, and I don't like that. I can't even imagine what it'd feel like because I was a different color or I spoke a different language. That sucks. And, I don't know. And, then, you see normal triple-down things like, why is there no white equivalent of Al Sharpton? Because if there was, he'd be a racist. I see shit like that, and first off, I thought the joke was funny. I laughed. It's kind of, to me, it's true. Also, to me, it pissed me off that it was a joke, because we don't really need one. That's like people going, oh, where's White History Month? It's like, that's all the time. That's literally all the fucking time. And, I don't know, shit just fucking breeds violence, because it goes back and forth. The whole statue bullshit. Like, I'll end on this note. Statues of Abraham Lincoln have been vandalized. I understand Lee. The two I don't understand are the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers. That was vandalized. I don't know why. That hurts, actually. It bothers me because those are people that's like a national landmark, and it's not because of racism or it's not even about the Civil War. Like, that fucking bothers me. And then two statues of Lincoln. I believe one was in Seattle, Chicago. Completely hammered his face off. Fucking 300. No, I think 100-year-old statue. He fucking hammered his face off. That was probably white kids. Tell you the truth. Oh, fuck it, everybody's breaking statues. Let's go break statues. I would really hope it wasn't someone from Antifa, because that just, like, no offense or nothing, but that fucking proves, like, it's a power of example of the hate you're feeling. Like, that's ignorant as fuck. Like, what did Abraham Lincoln do? He led the North in the Civil War and abolished slavery. The only real backlash to that argument is he himself owned slaves. Shitty thing to say, too. I don't want this to be offensive, but, like, there's no way for it not to be fucking offensive. People who were not racist, there were people who owned slaves back then, and they shared quarters with them. They fucking ate at the table with them. That shit happened. They didn't whip them and beat them and rape them. They were bought, and I know I'm struggling to say this without, like, they were bought, because they were, like, livestock. But they were put in the house, nice bed, well-clothed, they were educated, like, they weren't treated like the stereotypical, get over here, boy, and they start whipping the shit out of them. There was a lot like that up in the North. And without this sounding too insensitive, I guess, right now everybody has a smartphone. In that time, everybody who could owned a slave. And that's shitty to compare a person to a phone. I do realize that. That's not how I feel. They're not the same. But that was the culture back then. And it's 2017. That is not the fucking culture now. Nobody's trying to own anybody. There's hate. There's always going to be fucking hate. It doesn't matter. Like, if you finally get them to start hating you, there are still hate-filled people and hateful people that are going to just fucking hate. They'll pick somebody else, something else. Don't feed it with more hate. To me, in my head, that's giving them a reason to hate you. It's cyclical. It's just going to fucking keep going. Like Morgan Freeman said, just fucking stop talking about it. Leave it the fuck alone. It ain't gonna make it go away, but it ain't gonna make it fucking worse either. And, like I said, that's stuff that I can't really openly talk about. I will, though. That's my viewpoint, and that's my stance. But because I'm white, if I disagree, I'm racist. If I'm neutral, I'm racist. So I have to agree. And I do agree in the sense that everybody should be treated equally, and there shouldn't be discrimination. There shouldn't be fucking profiling. That should stop. But to go as far as showing violence on either end, like, I don't know, even, like, it's a patriotic thing. Like, I don't have to agree with what you're saying or doing, but I will die for your right to do it, and I will. If it came down to it, someone said, all right, if you don't take a bullet to the head right now, we're going to take away these rights, I would do it. Plain and simple. Everybody, including the KKK, has the right to fucking assemble for protest and say what they want to say. That's how it is. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. I don't agree with it. I think they should be fucking just burned. It'd be easier. Start lynching them. Fucking start burning crosses in their yards. Shit like that. But, it's the way the country goes. The Supreme Court's not going to take away their right to protest. I wouldn't want them to. They have the right to say what they want to say. Do they have a right to fucking get in their car and ring them through a crowd of people? Absolutely fucking not. That's not protected by the Constitution. I don't know. That's all I really got for today. There'll be more tomorrow, I'm sure. And have a good one.